need time to settle down. We are in foreign lands. And you know when people say, why don't you just go back to your own country? Well, this is not our country. We're British. We are British. And even people that have left Pakistan to live in England and have been there for less than 5 years, even for them it's hard to adjust back to Pakistan. It's not easy just picking up and moving and then moving elsewhere. This is a conscious decision that me and Myra have made, and even we're finding it difficult. Obviously, it's a good difficulty, but
it's different, isn't it? More than difficult. Would you say it's difficult?
It is very difficult.
What do you find it difficult?
The way of life is very strange here. Like, we don't know what gestures mean and type of words mean. Like we have sarcasm, and we understand sarcasm, but they don't really have. They've got their own way of talking here, don't
Yeah, we
they?
don't understand the sarcasm. There is sarcasm here, but I'm not always 100% sure
if they mean what they're saying, or they're angry, or they're happy.
Or they, yeah.
Because they don't really smile sometimes. A lot of the times they don't really smile or laugh.
Yeah.
So you don't have a clue if you're going to be murdered in a second's time, or you're going to have tea and biscuits served to you. You just don't know. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the people that we've met so far have got very controlled reactions, and maybe that's a bit different for us, isn't it?
Definitely. And I was joking about being murdered. I just mean, like, you just don't know what extreme they're actually coming from. So they could be at any part of the spectrum.
Difficult to read the body language.
Yeah, and
it's different
in fact,
body language.
They don't even have a body language.
They will, but
when they're happy,
in
they sat
England,
down.
they're more expressive, especially because we're from the north.
When they're sad, they sat down. When they're happy, they sat down. When they're angry, they sat down. But what are you going to read?
Yeah, everything is quite controlled, isn't it? They don't have
Really
very
hard
big...
to understand what's going on around you. But anyways, other than that, I think you know what I personally would like. I would like to see more people from the UK that have settled down in Pakistan. I think that would help me a lot. Just to interact with them, just to sit down and talk to them. Because when we went to Turkey for 6 weeks and I was meeting people from the UK, it actually makes a big difference. Because I met a lot of people and I interviewed some of them. And it was quite nice just exchanging what they've experienced or what we've experienced. In fact, we could turn this into our podcast. Highway podcast.
Yeah. I really enjoyed meeting people. I met somebody from America. Oh, the other lady was American as well, I think.
When?
In Turkey.
Turkey, yeah.
And I really enjoyed that. It just...
when you meet people from the West, it's very different.
Yeah.
It's very different. It gives you... You come away with a different vibe altogether.
I think it's what we're used to, so we can read their body language, we understand their gestures, we have, you know, there's something similar about us.
Yeah, we can relate to their difficulties and their eases, and also one's broken down, so they have to push it.
Here, like I'm on a few Facebook groups.
Show that guy's broken down on the highway.
Oh.
Should we help him?
I think when we are a bit more settled, we'll start contributing more to the community issues.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was saying that I joined a few women's only Facebook groups, and because I just wanted to get to know the people, what some of the women are like. I just wanted to get a vibe and
what's going on.
Yeah, what's going on. Just sort of because and it's very different. So some of the conversations that I've had, or the comments, or whatever it is that I would do normally, the conversations I would have normally. Here, because there's a different culture, things are understood a little bit differently.
Of course.
So for example, if I said, often people in these groups are asking for, help with mental health, and then I'll just sort of respond on there because of my work background. And I feel that what I'm saying is lost in translation because of the cultural difference, maybe, or because maybe the way people talk about mental health here is different to how we talk about mental health in the UK. I remember even once there was a post about something to do with a woman said that she feels that her and her husband are drifting apart, she doesn't feel as close since they've had children, or it was something to do with that. And the comments under that post, so she's obviously in a bad place right now, and she wants some advice, she wants some reassurance. And the kind of comments that were under that were like, oh, third world problems. I was really shocked by that, because surely everybody wants a good relationship with their partner.
Exactly.
So, just that kind, obviously it's not all like that, but a lot of it is like that. And there's been so many posts about my husband's dropped me off at my mum's house and he hasn't checked up on us for 3 months or 6 months, not checked up on the wife, not checked up on the kids, not sent any money, nothing, like clear cut, just cut off. And then they'll pick them up again and just go home and carry on living as normal. I don't know if that, I don't think I've ever come across that in England. Maybe it does happen, I just don't know about it.
The bottom line is it's wrong.
But it's wrong, obviously, and it's very different. There's like a whole, I don't know, there's just a whole life to understand here, a whole culture to understand.
There's a very different life here.
And what a lady recently posted something about, I don't know if this is going to be interesting to people, but this is what I'm talking about now, so this is what you're getting. A lady recently posted something about it was a funny post for her, that's why she posted it. She said something about the men of the house tell the women not to go out or to be covered or to be a certain way, because the men outside the house are a danger to them, that there could be a potential threat. But then those men who are out there are saying the same thing to their wives. So does that mean that my husband is then a threat to other women, other men's wives and mothers and daughters? So are all the men a threat to each other? Are they all looking at other women inappropriately? So is it the men that basically need to sort themselves out?
Yeah.
So it was something like that. That's what the post was about. And she just wrote at the bottom, I found this really funny, so I'm sharing it. And she got grilled. She got absolutely grilled. People were like, how dare you say something like this? Women have to be covered. This is an Islamic thing. And completely missed the point that there's a whole thing about men also protecting their
aura.
Their aura. There's a whole thing about,
just like there's a hijab for a woman, there's a hijab for a man.
Yeah, because you can cover
the way
as
you
much
dress.
as you want. If somebody's not right and they're going to be looking at you funny, or you're going to feel unsafe, you're going to be unsafe.
Even if you are wrapped up in a cardboard box, the wrong man will always stare. That's the bottom line. And the situation is such that the man needs to change, right?
Yeah,
the man needs to change.
You can't put all the blame on the woman and all the responsibility on women to be covered.
It's a shared.
And it was really interesting that women were saying that to the woman. That really shocked me. Really shocked me. Like I expected the comments to say things like, yeah, men really should lower their gaze. Us women should, bring up our boys in a different way.
Yeah.
They should be going out protecting.
And do you know why that's the case?
And it just really, I was like, wow, look at this. This is very different and interesting.
But do you know why that's the case?
Why?
I was listening to a talk by a sheikh who was also a school teacher, and he said that the reason why us British Muslims are very different to Muslims from the countries that our parents are from is one thing, is the national curriculum. The national curriculum's there to teach us and bring us up in a certain mind frame. And because Pakistan, they're taught in a different way, they actually think like that and they answer like that. But because we're from England, we're taught to think differently and answer differently.
How do you mean? Like, how does it relate to women being more supportive of women and men being more respectful of women?
Because whilst they're going to school and whilst they're going to the learning in the madrasa and stuff like that, and even at home, all they'll ever hear is the women need to cover up. If a man's done this, the first thing they'll say is the woman needs to cover up. And if you keep hearing this and you keep hearing this, then that's all you're going to think. Whereas in the UK, we're actually learning different aspects of the deen, and we're actually learning that, because it was new to me at the age of 17 to know that I always thought that there's only a hijab for women. Hijab means the covering for a woman, but in fact hijab is, in Arabic, it just means a covering or a protection, and the men have a hijab just like a woman does, and you're not meant to live in such a way that you're going to attract every single woman out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all this men that go out wearing tight clothes. Do
Yeah.
you know in Saudi, people don't talk about this, maybe because you know, Saudi is Saudi. But the men are not allowed to go to the mall wearing shorts.
That's
they have
good.
to cover up. They
That's
have to
good.
wear a jubba,
That's a hijab.
and they have to even cover their heads.
That's
Can you believe
excellent.
that?
That's excellent.
That's so interesting. But people should be allowed to do what they want. It shouldn't impact what I do. It shouldn't impact my actions. So if somebody's walking around wearing whatever they are wearing, that shouldn't impact my character. I shouldn't start behaving badly just because I've seen somebody's leg. You know, that is just unacceptable, that people would say that, oh, a man,
She deserved it.
yeah, a man did XYZ because, oh, he saw her leg, or he saw a lot of her arm, or he saw her hair, or she was driving on the motorway late at night.
That's the funniest thing, because
It's just-
where in the deen does it say that go ahead, you've got full permission and it's halal for you to do X, Y and Z?
Yeah.
It's completely against our religion. This is the Islamabad Express Highway, I believe. I love it. I'm already happy, thank you, Hafiz Bhai. She goes, Hafiz Bhai. I'm already happy, Ameen. I'm extremely happy, thank
Oh
you.
wow, look at that balloon.
Where?
That balloon.
Oh, how do you fit that in the car?
We don't need a balloon. We're 33 years old, both of us.
Story once that a woman broke down somewhere in Islamabad, right? I mean, this is an isolated incident. Let's put it that way. Listen, let me come through because this truck's not letting me go.
The reason
Okay,
why
then.
I think the reason why we're saying this is because it's happened in India and it's happened in Pakistan, where something's happened. You know, a woman's been raped or assaulted, and a lot of the population will say, "Why was she out at that time? Why was she dressed like that?"
I would
And
say,
that
where
really
was the
winds
men?
me up.
Where's the father? Where's the brother? Where's the husband? That's what I would say.
Why though? She can drive to places without. If she breaks down, she shouldn't be worried that she's going to get raped.
Exactly. And that's just that's wrong.
And just that even anybody thinks it's okay to say that why was
Yeah.
she out at that time? She was in her
That's
car.
just wrong,
She
yeah.
broke down. You know, it's just that's why this kind of post where the women are saying, oh, you know, women should be covered up, don't even talk about the men, that really shocked me, and that's why we're talking about this. There were a lot of people that were speaking against it, and that's a reassuring, alhamdulillah, which shows there's a lot of people that have got their heads screwed on.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of people, it doesn't make sense when Muslim or anybody, but in our deen, because you know we have everything so clear cut, and it's just difficult to hear when Muslims are saying things like that, and they think they're being religious, which makes it worse.
There's no logic behind it.
Yeah.
Whether in real life or in religion. What gives you the authority to transgress just because somebody's broken down and they're out at night, just because they're female?
Yeah.
You should be doing the opposite. You should be helping more because you feel like, you know what, she's female, she needs more support and help. How's she gonna repair the car? How's she gonna be able to travel home? Yeah?
You're gonna get killed for that comment by all the feminists.
What was it?
You just said she's a woman and she needs more help.
No, but I'm just saying that that's what they need to be thinking.
Yeah.
She might not be able to change a tyre. Do you see what I mean? Now, have you ever replaced the tyre on a car?
Me, no.
Yeah, it's not
I
easy.
don't know much about cars, and
Exactly.
that's kind of like a generalization, I guess, because
It's a very
generally
it's general, yeah.
women.
But
we
if I
often
even
need
if
help
I
with cars.
even if I had broken down, I'd want help. That's what I'm trying to say. That rather than just being like, okay, what you do? I mean, people could point fingers at me. What you do now out at night? But really, they can just pull up. All they need to do is help replace the tire, and I'll be on my way. Yeah. And we are in a country of that's more than four times the size, more than four times the size in terms of population and landscape to England. So this doesn't mean that it happens all the time. Yeah. And there's really horrid things that happen in the UK.
Yeah, there's going to be horrible things that happen everywhere.
Yeah.
I guess we're just talking about this because we're here now, and we just started. You know, I started by talking about that post, and I was surprised that the women were not being supportive of the women.
Yeah.
They couldn't handle that she was joking even, and they turned it into a whole thing about how women should be covered. But then there's all these other women that are talking about how their men are just dropping them off at their mums, and then they come and pick them up when they're ready to restart the relationship. How much control you know, just seeing how much more control the men have, how much it's like a man's world, just from these few comments that I've seen. Obviously there's only, you know, a couple of thousand people in these groups, and the population in Pakistan is absolutely huge, so we can't speak for everybody.
We've increased that population by 2.
Yes.
But actually, just let us know anyone who's going out of the country, then maybe we can do another tally. You know, although Pakistan, this is going completely off the topic, even though Pakistan is 230 million, give or take 5 million, they haven't taken into consideration how many overseas Pakistanis there are. Imagine they all come back and we've got a country of 250, 260, probably even more in fact. Let's say we've got a population of 300 million. Yeah, and they all come back. Pakistan will be the largest Muslim population. Should we put an end to our podcast?
I feel a bit tired. That got
30 minutes in. Can you believe it?
That got a bit deep.
Yeah.
Do we need a little conclusion?
So the conclusion is, guys, listen, be open-minded. We just need to study into the deen and explore topics properly, and not just go with what culture tells us. That's my bottom line advice for myself and others.
Yeah.
If culture goes against Islam, then you don't do those things. Simple.
And it's really important to try and develop the confidence to see past your emotions. Just because you're emotional doesn't mean that you can just make any decision based on those emotions. There's always a right and a wrong, and it's really important to just check in. So for example, whenever me and Farhan say if we have a little bit of a disagreement, we'll always check with a scholar, and that's our go-to. We'll check with our teachers, and then whatever they say, that goes, regardless of what our personal opinion was. So it's really important to have that and have the confidence to do that.
So basically, do your best and leave the rest to Allah.
Absolutely.
So do your best, Allah will take care of the rest.
Yep. So whenever there's a confusion and you think, oh, this is the popular opinion right now. So for example, when that case happened, it's always good to consult with a scholar. Like when a lady was assaulted and people were like, oh, well, she shouldn't have been out, or she whatever. It's good to consult a scholar and then base your opinion on that, rather than just deciding what you think yourself is right or wrong.
Any scholar would say that what's the punishment for what that man's done. Yeah, I don't have to go into detail, but we know what harsh of a punishment it is. So I guess it doesn't need any more explanation than that. And thank you for listening to our podcast.
Yes.
Inshallah, we'll see you in the next one, guys.
Yes. Bye bye.